Hey guys, I'm Sean,
And I'm Jim.
and we are going to check out this song that everybody's talking about. I actually have not heard it yet, by the way. I was waiting to do this video, but I have seen some of the fallout and some of the reactions from other people on online and such. I haven't actually
Yeah,
watched a
same
reaction
here.
style video or anything like this one, but I have read some of the things people have been posting. I've listened to a couple of people talk about it,
Yeah, and I've
and
been seeing the memes, and I'm thinking, okay, what the hell here?
so we're gonna check it out. I'm gonna try to keep a completely open mind. Um, Jim knows, you guys may not. Obviously, I'm definitely very sensitive to racial issues, and really any kind of social issue. I'm typically pretty, pretty sensitive about it, whether I agree with it or not. I tend to kind of, you know what I mean, err on the side of if people are pissed, maybe we don't do that. You know what I mean? Just because, why go out of our way to piss people off? But, anyways, let's check it out and see what's going on here.
And I find I don't normally have to go out of my way to piss people off.
Oh, um, something that you guys may not be familiar or may not be aware of. I actually really like country music. Um, as a like, I know that's probably kind of surprising because like I'm the one educating Jim on hip hop and such, but like I actually grew up with in a truck driving family, and from a small kid, I rode with my dad in the truck, and he played country music for me, and it was one of my earliest memories is actually country music being played while I'm bouncing around in the cab of a truck. So
And surprisingly enough, I never really cared for country music that much as a kid, but after my second divorce, I pretty much got into it.
yeah, I imagine that'll do it. But yeah, just so you guys know, I'm not coming in cold here as far as country music is concerned. I'm actually pretty. I have a pretty good knowledge of the genre, and I listen to it in my spare time all the time. So back at it.
Sucker punch somebody on the
Good.
sidewalk. Carjacking old lady at a red light. Pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. You think it's cool, act a fool if you like. Cuss out a cop, spit in his face. Stomp on the flag and light it up. Yeah, you think you're tough. Well, try
Hey,
that
Sean,
in
hang
a
on a
small
second. Hang on.
town. See how
Yeah.
Okay, these lyrics, I think you and I will both agree. There's absolutely nothing wrong or racist in the lyrics whatsoever. I think it's the video that people are complaining about.
Um, I am reading between the lines, and we're not even past the first, but we just got past the first verse. And reading between the lines, I absolutely know what he's talking about, and he is absolutely like being uncool. I don't know if I'd call it quite racist yet, but he is definitely, yeah.
Oh,
He's
oh,
dog whistling is what he's doing. It's what it is. It's what he's doing. So it's
oh,
not
okay,
blatant. It's subtle, but
okay.
it's racist.
Because I'm not reading it that way. I'm just seeing shit that's just uncool. That there's nothing saying who's doing it.
Yeah, but like reading between the lines of all the things that he's tying together, yeah, I'm already beginning to see what people are having an issue with.
far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town. granddad gave me. They say one day they're gonna round up. Well, that shit might fly in the city. Good luck, try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town full of good old boys.
Okay.
I don't need to comment on that, do I?
Good old boys, yeah.
I don't need to comment on that, do I? And it colors the rest of what he said. Try that in a town full of good old boys. Try punching the police and, you know, all this other stuff in a town full of good old boys. It's starting to color. It's starting to, you know what I mean? It's starting to color the rest of what he said.
Yeah, maybe I'm just different.
I mean, you would qualify as a good old boy, so it makes sense. No offense, but you would qualify as a good old boy.
I gotta ask, how do I qualify as a good old boy?
Well,
Besides being older and a boy, and I know I'm not supposed to use those terms anymore. We have to, and I think I'm good.
Older.
Actually, no, I don't. I don't claim to be good. I claim to be an asshole once in a while.
Older, male, white, conservative, good old boy.
Conservative, really.
You would definitely come down. People would consider you conservative.
After all our talks, you'll call me a conservative.
You're more conservative than the mob. Are you not? You're more conservative than the mob.
The mob?
Yeah, not the mob as in like an actual organized crime group. I mean, the mob mentality of what is currently media in general. You are more conservative than that.
Okay, let's see. I'm pro-choice. I want legalized pot.
Yeah.
I mean,
and after that,
I lean liberal on a lot of issues.
You do, but you would still come down more conservative than the mob mentality. Let's move on, okay?
Okay.
But you would be considered more conservative than, you know. We won't get into like your voting history and stuff like that.
Okay, I'll say that.
You know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I'll just say, I have my position on individual issues taken on their own.
Yeah.
I don't follow anyone's.
No, I'm not saying you do. I'm not saying you do, but you would come down as more conservative than, you know, than the general. You know.
Well, I'm not for banning any books.
Well, that's good, but let's move on.
Okay.
Because this is what I was worried about would happen, and why I said we shouldn't start this video tonight, is because I was worried that this would be one of those videos that would take us down a rabbit hole that would take a 2-hour conversation.
Nah.
At 2:00 in the morning on a Sunday. So like that's.
Hey, that's your problem, not mine. It's only 10:30 for me.
Well, exactly. Which leaves me at a disadvantage in the potential debate that could pop up, is because I'd be working with a limited time and you wouldn't.
Did I mention I'm an asshole?
Well, you know. But yeah, I'm just pointing out, full of good old boys raised up right. And raised up right is like very judgmental too, because like what does raised right mean specifically? That's all I'm saying.
I always thought that was being polite, tipping your hat, and putting a divider behind your groceries at the checkout stand.
Those are good rules, but in a country song, just typically for a very specific kind of audience, you know. that
Okay.
carries other connotations.
Yeah.
Specifically, it might mean specifically Christian in a country song.
Okay, that one we're not even going to go into because you and I have very, very similar views.
I'm just
and
saying
we
though,
could
but
go all night.
we could, but I'm just saying. And when you say raised right in a country song, you're typically going to mean, God fearing and, you know,
Don't get me started on that one, please.
I'm not trying to, but you did this. You said let's do it tonight. You did this. Was your fault. So, but am I wrong? The question is, am I wrong? The typical connotation is going to be that when a person in a country music song says raised right,
you're
they're
right.
going to mean religious conservative.
Yeah, moral majority, which is never mind. I won't go there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Raised up right. If you're looking for a fight, try that in a small town. Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Round here we take care of our own. You cross
On a side note, he doesn't have a bad voice.
that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town. Try that in a small town. Try that in a small town.
Okay, I'm going to put it this way. Taking the words on their face value, with the arguable mention of good old boys, there's nothing specifically that specifies race in it. The actions are not specifically tied to any given race, and those actions are unacceptable, period. And certainly in a small town. I get that attitude.
Okay.
And I don't mean, and it doesn't matter
but
what
when
you
take,
are.
But when you take the full context of the song, including the genre and all of the other comments that he made within the song that in the way they interact with each other, they create dog whistles that I know that you can recognize.
Actually, the only dog whistle I heard was "Good Old Boys," and I'm going to, Sean,
Okay.
I'm going to call you out a little bit when you say the genre of the music. I mean, is there something about country that's inherently going to be racist?
No, not specifically.
Then why do you
however,
say the genre of the music? I mean,
sure, I can comment on that. So when I mention the genre of the music, I can explain it as this. What is the You're gonna make me do this.
yeah.
This is why I didn't want to do this tonight. All right, so
Hey, I'm going to press my advantage since you said I have one.
well, you do, you fucker.
Up yours.
Okay.
By the way, people, we are friends. We've known each other for over 10 years.
We are. Now, how do I want to word this? I'm trying to figure out the best way to word this. Not so much because I'm worried about you misunderstanding or anybody misunderstanding. I'm worried about getting clipped. I don't want someone to clip part of the comment to make me sound like an asshole in a way that I'm not an asshole. I am an asshole sometimes, but I don't want to be.
No.
I don't want to be a misunderstood asshole. I want to be understood correctly. Okay. So, if you were to go to an average country music concert and you were to take all of the faces in the crowd and you were to average them out as far as like a color scale.
Yes, you're right. They'd be like 95% plus like me.
That's all I'm going to say. So he's speaking.
Actually, more like 80%, but okay.
The average would come out about my complexion because you'd have to blend in the couple of darker folks that you might see there, and when it all averaged out, you might get to my tone at the very darkest. Okay, and I am light. I have very, very pale complexion, especially to be biracial myself. I am very pale for that to be true, but it is true. But the point I'm making is that he's.
You mean you're not Puerto Rican?
No, he is specifically calling upon his white folks, his good old boys, to rally against all of these flag trampling, cop punching, colored folk.
No, okay. Okay, damn it, Sean. Damn it, Sean. I'll be honest with you. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I mean, and even the phrase "good old boys," I know people who are good old boys who you would be surprised if you just looked at them. You would never say that.
Yeah, but when you talk about good old boys, you ain't talking about them. Let's be real about it.
But
like
when you're talking about
when you characterize a good old boy, you know
you're right.
That,
okay,
yeah,
I agree.
Come on.
But the actions he mentions in the opening lines, those don't have stereotypes. I'm sorry. And we sure the hell saw that over the past 2 summers, that they had no stereotypes. Who is punching cops and burning cars.
You're right.
And in fact, many of the protests where people were stopping traffic on freeways, they were basically all white. They were all white.
But what were they protesting again? Remind me.
I'm not certain they knew what the hell they were protesting.
What were they protesting, Jim? What were they protesting, Jim? Come on.
Okay.
Come on, dude.
I'm going to say, in the most part, most of what happened in the last couple of years was police brutality.
Against?
What do you mean, police brutality against what? I mean, help me out here.
Specifically, primarily against.
What, talking about George Floyd?
That's one of them, you know. And there's Breonna Taylor as well, you
right.
know. And the average complexion of the people that were being protested about was what?
Yes, black.
So I'm just putting it together.
But that's...
He may not even mean for it to be racist, okay?
But he wasn't even...
I can't speak to his intent, right? But I'm saying if it looks and smells and sounds, it might be...
If it walks like a duck and talks like it and looks like a duck, right?
I'm just saying.
Okay, but carjackings and the other things he mentioned weren't George Floyd. or Breonna Taylor.
A lot of that kinds of violence happened during those protests that in many cases became riots.
I don't know. I understand.
Like I said, he may not have meant it that way, but it sounds that way, bro. It does.
I can understand the backlash there. I really do.
Yeah,
I think that some of it is over the top.
I'm gonna say this: if he did this in a genre that wasn't meant for a predominantly white audience, he probably doesn't get the hate. But when you make this song and then you pump it out in a country in when you make these lyrics and you pump them out into country music, knowing that the audience of this song is going to be primarily white, you're going to get people calling you a racist, and you're going to get people.
What does that say about us? It's okay to say this if you're one thing, but you can't say it if you're another. It's okay to say it in that genre, but it's not okay to say it in this one.
It says
what does that say?
It says that context matters. That's what it says. It says context matters.
Yeah, never mind facts. Just go with the context.
Well, the context is a fact. It's one of the facts of the matter.
I would like to think
that he didn't mean it that way.
I would like to think speaking for me personally, I would like to think that I can be objective and view things outside the context and just.
But the context is what gives everything meaning.
Not always.
The context, yeah, it is though, because you can say anything in a vacuum and it won't have any meaning at all. When you look at what it's talking about and the world that we live in, that's what gives it that's what paints the picture for us. Context is everything.
Okay,
I'm just saying.
I don't want to launch us into a 2 or 3 hour discussion on philosophy, which I know we would.
Let me ask you this, okay?
I know we would come to an agreement at the end. By the way,
let me ask you this
because we almost always do.
Let me ask you this as a question, okay? I'm going to paint the picture for you in a way that I think that you'll be able to at least empathize with the point I'm making. You may not agree with it, but you will understand it after this, okay? If a white person was to put on paint their whole face black and their lips red, and go out on stage, you would call them a racist, right?
Al Jolson.
You would call them a racist, right? For sure, right? Right?
Today, yeah, absolutely, I would.
Why?
Today, I would question why they were. I would question why they're doing it.
Yeah, but why is it racist? Because of the context, right? Because of the context, because of historical context associated with that black paint and those red lips. The context informs you that shit is racist.
Oh, yeah. People, you're getting the short version of what we go through at times.
Am I wrong, though? But am I wrong, Jim?
I think
the historical context tells you
you
can't wear blackface, right?
Hang on. You are referring to Al Jolson, the most notable example. And at the time he did that, it was in fact common practice, and not just to mimic. I can't think of the right word.
That's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that historical context tells you
No,
today.
not his. It's not historical context. Today, if somebody did that, they would be doing it to ridicule people,
Yeah,
which is unacceptable.
agreed. But there is historical context going all the way back to the cartoons from the 20s and 30s. Beyond just the artist that you were citing. That's why I said the historical context. It was common. I know. But that doesn't mean that it was okay when it happened. It just happened a lot.
Except that
They used to lynch people a lot too. That doesn't mean that just because it happened a lot that it was okay.
oh my God, Sean, give me a break on that one for crying out loud.
I mean, you did this. You did this.
Oh no, I did not do anything like that.
No. I'm saying you are the one that decided this conversation would occur tonight when I'd have to pull out the big guns to end the conversation quickly.
Oh my God.
I don't have time for subtlety tonight. That's why I'm going with the howitzers.
Oh no. It don't work that way. I mean, minstrel shows, regardless of race, used makeup to emphasize, and in fact, in the case of Al Jolson and other white performers, they did so intentionally in order to match the genre that they wanted to perform in.
And what genre was that exactly?
This would have been black minstrel performers.
So they were mimicking the black man by putting on black paint, not brown, not trying to actually get it right. They took it to a level of absurdity to ridicule black people. Right?
No, I don't think you would call Al Jolson ridiculing. Give me a break.
Sure is questionable. If I was trying to look like
certainly by today's standards. Okay, fine.
If I was trying to look like a If I was trying to look like you, okay, and you're much paler. You're paler than me by a pretty wide margin. You know what I wouldn't do? I wouldn't just slap clown white on my face and go out and go, "Oh, I'm Jim." That's what I wouldn't do. I would try to get the tone right. I would put on some very light tans, some peaches. There'd be like a lot of reds in there, like pinks.
What did you put on my face for Halloween last year at the
I was making you a monster, not a white person. I was making you a monster, a ghoul, not a white person. If I was making you a white person,
by giving me a base coat of white.
Yeah, I was making you a monster, a ghoul.
Nice to know that white is a monster. I'm sorry, Sean. That was
no. I was making you a ghoul.
Okay.
So I was
okay.
I was ashening your skin to mimic death.
Okay. Different example. Actually, just because I'm still undecided on this one. Shirley Temple. One of the most famous dance scenes. Shirley Temple and the Black Butler dancing on the stairs. I know you know it.
I don't have a clear enough recollection to argue the point, to argue any point with regards to it. I remember it very vaguely. I don't remember enough to comment on it in any intelligent way.
And by the way, people, it is very, very difficult for me to catch Sean on something even back in the 30s and 20s that he doesn't know or have seen or have heard. It's hard for me to catch him on music that he doesn't know about.
It's true. I do know what you're talking about. I just don't have a clear enough recollection to discuss it intelligently. I would need a refresher before I could get into that with any real detail. So it wouldn't be fair to people that are spending the time to watch it to really get into it.
Yeah. No, but that's
But no, back to this. So I have one more thing that I want to show you.
and people, if you have stayed with us this long, thank you.
We're going to take a look at some video that is just in. I know that you've heard about this as well. This happened during the performance of Jason Aldean, who was the last performer, I believe, during the concert. Let's listen to what happened as the shooting started to happen and he realized what was going on. Listen.
Oh, look at that.
What the fuck? What am I hearing?
Oh, those are gunshots.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So I just want to point out that he doesn't really practice what he preaches because, when the gunfire broke out at his concert in Las Vegas back in 2015, he headed for the hills and he did not come back with his granddaddy's rifle. He stayed firmly in safe custody. He didn't look out for his own out there in the crowd. He got the hell out of there. That's all I'm gonna say.
Would you please name one artist of any genre who would come back on stage with a 9mm?
He said his granddaddy's rifle. You mean
I'm
he ain't
just
gonna?
saying.
You mean he ain't gonna climb up in the scaffolding and grab the scope and pick
Name
that
me-
sucker off?
Name me one artist in any genre who would come back with something and take action like that.
Off the top of my head, I'm not gonna insult anybody's intelligence by trying to name anyone, but I believe it's been done before. I actually believe that's happened. I can't remember exactly who it was, but I do believe that's happened before. The point is that song was awfully tough talk. 8 years after this.
After? Try before.
Yeah. No. He wrote that song, Try It in a Small Town, and he did that. That's a new song. This shooting was back in 2015.
Okay, so that was 8 years before now.
Yeah.
You said after.
That's what I'm saying, is that he has a lot of nerve to write that song after this. That's what I'm trying to say.
Just
clarify. To clarify, what I mean is that, you can't be on video running away from people mowing down your fans with a gun, and then write a song about how you take care of your own and you'll get your granddaddy's rifle and take care of any problems. I just think that's a little weird and a little tough guyish. I
suppose to be fair, we have to see what he does the next time this happens at one of his concerts.
I certainly hope it doesn't ever happen again.
Agreed. So do
I really hope it doesn't ever happen again. I'm just pointing out that that's tough talk. And that was not tough actions. I mean, he took off. He saved his guitar, though. I don't know if you saw. He had his guitar with him when he ran. He didn't drop that. He made sure he had that with him.
It was probably on a strap, but he couldn't.
It was.
And I know that as a photographer, I sure the hell would save my camera.
Yeah. I don't know.
Do you know how much cameras cost?
Yeah. I know how much guitars cost, too, and some of them are pretty bad, man. The price.
No shit.
Whew. But yeah, no, I just thought that was I know it's not funny that people died at this, by the way. There was deaths. And I mean, this, I think it was actually in the thumbnail. 2 dead, 26 hospitalized, and 12 critical when this video came out.
Wow.
So there was actually a really serious situation, and I didn't mean to make light of that, guys. For any of you guys watching this, it's not funny at all that happened. I just find it ironic that video is now circulating.
I'm going to point out, for those of you still watching, in the comments, nothing is off limits pretty much. As you might guess, Sean and I have discussions that last for many hours at times, and we both have open minds and explore all possibilities. We set aside our preconceptions and just put everything on the table and look at what remains after we tear it apart.
Okay, so
feel free to do the same with us.
One last thing is, I think that, to be fair, we've got to watch the actual music video, because apparently that is what people are most upset about. But looking at the lyrics, there is definitely some stuff in there that you could question. At the very least, I think you'd have to agree there's some questionable lyrics in there when taken with context.
It's that one line, "Good old boys," that,
and how it colors the rest, right?
Yeah, that's the one that, for me, is problematic.
Yep. So let's see what the actual music video looks like.
Do we want to do it on this one or make it by itself?
Yeah, I'm not doing 2 videos on this song.
Okay.
Sucker punch somebody on the sidewalk, carjacking old lady at a red light, pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. You think it's cool, act a fool if you like. Cuss out a cop, spit in his face, stomp on the flag and light it up. Yeah, you
okay, so far, Sean, so far, every one of those actions, arguable exception of carjacking, but certainly arrests, are always mainly associated with young white people. Spitting on cops, burning the flag, everything else, it's always young white kids you see doing that.
True. But they're typically not typically when that happens, they're not protesting white issues.
But he's not saying what they're protesting yet.
He's not.
I'm
just saying.
He's just giving actions, and those actions are invariably associated with young white kids.
You're right, but we're not going to sit here and ignore that we have the context to know that typically these protests are not about white issues. We're not going to sit here and ignore that. I won't let you.
Oh, okay.
I won't let you ignore that.
We'll try that in a small town. See how far you make it down.
Also, it said state of emergency declared in Georgia. What happened in Georgia recently? Do you know? That was like on the screen.
Actually, I didn't catch it. The only thing I'm thinking of in Georgia, where I think, thank God, the courts got it right, the judge got it right, was that guy who was out jogging and 3 guys shot him and they were found guilty of murder.
State of emergency declared in Georgia due to civil unrest in Atlanta following the police killing an environmental activist.
Okay.
Interesting. Who was the environmental activist?
Okay, environmental activist. I'll be honest. To me, I immediately thought white activist, white liberal activist.
Typically. Typically, that's true. Okay, let's move on. I'll circle back to this.
Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't try that in a small town. Got a gun that my granddad gave me. They say one day they're gonna round up. Well, that shit might fly in the city. Good luck, try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't try that in a small town full of good old boys.
Okay,
By the way,
here?
I'm stopping it just because I on
Right.
my other screen, I uncovered the name of the person that the police shot in Georgia, that was protesting the environmental issues in Georgia. His name is Manuel Esteban Perez Terán.
Well, I know what I would assume would be his ethnicity.
You would assume correctly. I'm looking at a picture of him. Let's move on.
As for the video, I don't think, in terms of.
It's right here, by the way. Hold on. Right there.
Oh, okay.
That's part of the music video itself.
Okay. But in terms of the
And
video
the state,
itself,
hold on. And the state of emergency. This is important, though. This is important. The state of emergency was declared due to civil unrest following the death of this kid, this 26-year-old kid, and that's what the civil unrest was based on. They were actually protesting and saying, "Trees give life, please take it." I'm looking at a big sign that they were carrying around during the protests following the shooting of this kid that was doing some environmental work, protesting work. So yeah, that's what happened, and that's what this is about.
Without knowing the context surrounding the shooting, but I'm saying
I didn't see the video of the shooting, or I haven't read a police report on the shooting itself. But
Sean, the point I'm trying to get to is that I'm pretty certain that you don't disagree with the general premise of we take care of our own.
Yeah, but when you
you know what my plan C is and why.
Yeah, but when you tie it to this, and I'm going to be pretty rough here. When you tie it to this, to these cop worshiping lyrics, these flag worshiping, cop worshiping lyrics, it takes on again a different tone, especially when you pair it with video from the protests. And he's saying, "Try these protests in a small town." Literally, he's literally saying that by using this music video and using this footage.
And that's where I guess my own personal.
The whole thing comes down to try this protesting bullshit in our little small towns where the good old boys will gun you down for this.
Okay,
that's literally what he's doing.
Hang on, right there. We haven't got that point in the video where he said "good old boys." But,
we have not. I wonder who he's going to show when he says "good old boys."
But
I'm very curious about that.
But that's where I've got problems.
But do you see how it's all tying together now, though?
Yeah, I do. But at the same time, you and I agree a lot on some things.
Sure.
And
Can't really be friends when you don't agree on anything. That doesn't work. You have to agree on some things to get along.
Yeah.
I mean, you do. Can't fight about
Right.
everything.
right, but just taking care of your own.
In a vacuum, that's a good line. But
Yeah,
it's not in a vacuum. It doesn't live in a vacuum, Jim. And you're hanging on to the couple of okay lines in a song that, when paired with the video, is super not
Well,
okay.
I'm waiting for where he steps over the line.
Which is where he gets to the good old boy stuff. But he's already stepping
Yeah.
over the line by referencing that in a small town you'd never get away with this behavior, and then pointing to the civil unrest in Georgia over the shooting of a Hispanic kid that was protesting environmental safety issues. Like, that's already over the line, Jim. Where's your line, bud?
Hang on. Well, first off, we don't know why the kid was shot, but that's beside the point.
We don't, but bringing this up as a you wouldn't dare protest in a small town, you know, with the context of who was shot and where and what they were protesting when they were shot.
Well,
And that's the only context I have. But working with that amount of context, he's already over the line for me. And also, like, and also, hold on. I don't like this trend in country where we're being anti-protest. This country was built on protesting.
No shit. Can you say
So,
the
like,
Boston Massacre?
Yeah, so, like, honestly, like, civil disobedience and protesting is like how our country was founded.
Oh, I agree. It's in our
And
blood.
so-
I mean,
and
Jefferson
so, like-
himself said we should have a revolution every 20 years.
Yeah. And so, like, to be anti-protest, to me, is to be anti-American. Because it is part of the DNA that makes up Americanism. It is. If you don't like something, you get out there and you protest. Now, should you be an asshole and destroy stuff that doesn't deserve? No. But it always happens, and it happens no matter what's being protested.
Boston Tea Party comes to mind.
Exactly. So, yeah, I would say that to be anti-protest is to be anti-American. And I would say that with 10 toes down and my chest out.
That's an interesting position. I sort of like it.
I've always held that position. I thought I'd made that clear to you before.
I sort of like that.
I am pro-protest in whether I agree with the issue or not. I think if you don't like something, you get out there and fight for it.
Yeah. No, I definitely go along with that.
So, and when destruction happens, it happens, but it's part of what civil unrest happens. I mean, it's unfortunately one of the everything has consequences, right? One of the consequences of being free to protest as a country is that sometimes shit happens. I'm not saying it's good when shit happens, but it happens, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it without restricting the freedom to protest. Because the only way to stop me from rounding up a group of people and tearing down a building during a protest is to stop me from assembling in the first place. And you can't do that.
I guess
Now, you can punish me for tearing down the building afterwards,
I'll
but
take
you
that back.
can't stop me from doing it.
I'll take that back. I'm going to say I guess. I'm going to say there is a difference between protesting a wrong and
Well, like I said, I haven't
tearing down the structure that allows you to protest that wrong to begin with.
allows.
The fact is,
I don't like that word allows here.
no. Bear with me. Maybe allow is not the right word. But you mentioned it yourself. The fundamental basis of this country is freedom. And that implies that while we can protest things that happen around us, we should not protest that overreaching structure that says that, yes, that is what we have the right to do.
Well, I don't know that I agree. And the only reason is, and again, you did this. This is your fault. The only reason I don't know that I agree
Ask
with
me
that,
if I care.
the only reason I don't know if I agree with that is because the same structure that allows us to protest allows police officers to escalate situations, kill people, and then go on administrative leave for 6
I'm
months.
not going to say that structure hasn't been abused, because clearly it has been.
But that's what the protests are about.
Oh, my God.
See what I'm getting at?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, then. Let's
But do
move
you
on.
see my point?
I don't think you have one. Believe it or not,
Really?
this is one of the few times when I don't think you really have one. Let me explain. You're saying we shouldn't protest the overarching structure that allows us to protest. That's a fair statement in a vacuum, but when you factor in the fact that that overarching structure is also what allows all of the abuse to happen, the abuse of power, you have to protest the structure that allows the
No,
abuse of power.
that overarching structure does not allow that.
But it does. It does it all the time.
Because it's been corrupted.
Yes, and that's why it needs protesting. Yes.
Protest the corruption, not the principle.
The principle has never been protested that I'm aware of. It's always been the corruption itself. And the parts of the structure that allow for the corruption to seep in. That's what people protest. Let's move on and watch the rest of this video.
See how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town full of good old boys, raised up right.
There we go.
Okay, so now that we're
That's-
talking about good old boys,
Raised up right. If you're looking for a fight, try that in a small town. Try that in a small town.
man, I know that one cop trying to destroy the camera was an interesting shot to include there.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you're not doing anything wrong, you shouldn't have any problem being filmed, right?
Just today or yesterday.
And then here we go. Here's some more references to the good old boys here. We're in we got God Bless America in Star Spangled Banner font. Yuck.
Yeah, I got big problems with that.
Yuck.
Well,
Absolutely
yuck.
yuck.
you know my position on that.
Yeah, I do. I'm just pointing out that all of that is contextual information. It's all contextual information. This is a song made by a white male Christian in the South for other white male Christians in the South.
Don't get me started.
That talks down on people protesting police brutality
Sean,
in Atlanta, Georgia.
Don't get me started.
I'm just pointing out the absurdity of it. It's absurd. Like, he's a very specific archetype of human being talking to others that are his compatriots, the people that are just like him, our own, as he carefully words over and over again. And then he flashes this "God Bless America" sign with the flag and the yeah,
Yeah.
it's all context, man.
Hi.
Round here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't try that in a small town.
These farmers are dropping their own crops for the day. A friend is in need, and they've come to help.
It's what this community and a lot of our communities stand for. Somebody needs some help, you'll get it.
Try that in a small town.
The hell it is. That what that one guy said is true. People need help, they get it. You live in small town
Ideally,
Texas,
yeah.
you live in small town Texas, you find out real fast that's how it works.
Well, as long as you're not a brown person, yeah, I'm sure.
No, that has nothing to do with it. You live in town, you get help. That's just how it works.
Well, I would definitely say that it was bad enough that CMT took the video out of their rotation. Let's put it like that. You know what CMT is, right?
Yeah, they seem to be paying a price for it too.
I don't know whether they are or not. I haven't checked in with their ratings, but what I will say is it makes sense that they be paying a price for it because, again, they are the country music television channel, which is watched by primarily who? You know what I'm saying? So of course they're going to take a hit from their base, because their base is a very specific group of people. God. And of course those people aren't going to be happy that they took this song down that's speaking directly to them about issues that they care about. I mean, I know I'm being inflammatory, but I'm not wrong. I know I'm not wrong. I know I'm being inflammatory, but I'm not wrong. That's what I'm not. I mean,
oh my God. I don't know what to say there.
I'm just wondering why he wasn't up in the scaffolding picking off that shooter at his concert. He's such a tough guy, man. He's such a tough guy. He's been shooting guns with his grandpa since he was little, right? Why not climb up in that scaffolding and grab your granddaddy's rifle and pick that guy off? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, although, like I said,
be relatively safe up in the scaffolding, right?
I would love to hear any examples you can come up with of any other artist who has actually done that.
Let's see here. Well, I'm sure I can find something like that. But the point is that he's the one that was talking about, what he was talking about. He's the one that set that expectation, but clearly did not live up to it in his past. That's all I'm saying, is that he's a hypocrite, is all I'm saying.
And I bet that if we wanted to look it up, we could find many other examples of similar hypocrites
I'm
in
sure
any
we
given
could.
in any given genre.
I'm sure we could, but we're talking about him right now. That's whataboutism. I'm talking specifically about Jason Aldean right
Okay.
now.
Okay. Okay.
Do you regret this
Look,
video yet?
not yet. Why should I?
Well, anyways.
Sean, when have I ever regretted any discussion that we've had?
I can't think of a time. But the point I'm making is that
Have you ever regretted any?
no, not really.
And have we ever, if not changed the other person's mind, at least made each other think?
Sure.
Of course we have. We do that a lot.
Sure. But yeah, the point I'm making is that the combination of everything to do with this song makes them seem a little racist.
I'm not seeing. Okay. I'm not seeing the racist aspect as such. I do have a problem with the good old boys. I get your point there.
Okay. Yeah, we'll combine
But-
that with
But that said,
combine that up though with all right, so I'm just gonna lay out a couple of facts of this song, and then we're gonna have to end this because we're running out.
okay, but even so, good old boys.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
I know
referencing the
I
good
know
old
the
boys.
I know the connotation it evokes, but
So
that connotation is wrong in a lot of cases.
he references good old boys, taking care of our own. He references riots.
Taking care of our, taking care of our own, non-racist.
Taking care of our own after talking about good old boys as being
No.
your own.
Okay, hang on. Good old boys.
Clearly are his
Arguably,
own.
yes. Taking care of our own, no, not racist.
You have to combine them though, because
Oh,
talking about good old boys and then clearly making it clear that the good old boys are his own. Now, point A to point B, we have a line here.
okay.
We have to connect the dots. That's what this is. Because that's how dog whistling works. Is you say one thing that changes the complexion of everything else that you've said. Which is exactly what he did. And then placing that with the video that he placed it with makes it much worse. Depicting the things that he was depicting makes it worse.
Wait a minute. I didn't see one damn thing in that video itself that involved race.
So, the civil unrest in Georgia was based upon a Hispanic kid getting gunned down by the police during an environmental protest. That is a fact. And it is context when you combine that basically he's saying you couldn't get away with protesting the shooting of a Mexican in one of our small towns with our good old boys. We take care of our own around here.
Oh.
Yeah. Sounds bad now, doesn't it? But it's what he did. It's what he did, Jim.
I'm sorry. I'm putting that in terms of personal experience, which I can't ignore.
But isn't that what he did, Jim?
Okay, I see your point.
I'm just saying, that's what he did. He said you can't get away with this behavior in a small town with the good old boys. And all they're doing is protesting the gunning down of a Hispanic kid that was protesting environmental issues.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Oops.
Okay, all I'm going to say is that I'm missing the full context on that one.
Well, on the actual shooting, I am too. But it's very
Yeah.
clear what they were protesting. And it's very clear that, you know, there was some racial connotations there. And he leaned into them in a subtle way that he was hoping people wouldn't fucking notice. And they did. Anyways, guys,
Yeah.
on that note, we've been going at this for over an hour now. It's time to wrap it up. You guys put down in the comments what you think about what we've said here. We're sorry it's going on so long. Typically, our videos do not go on for an hour, but you know, there's some hot button stuff in here. So, and we're not shy about talking about it.
And if you've stayed with us this long, thank you.
For sure.
And please give us other ideas.
Absolutely. Later, guys.
Out of here.